Everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So we have a special speaker today. He's already keyed up, ready to go. We got Mr. James Becker. Before we bring him and give him make him co-host and give him the keys to the car, we do have an upcoming event that I want to make sure that we all are going to be attending, making James co-host, and that is going to be the Become a Real Estate Marketing Monster. Do we know who that person's going to be, Rob? James told me.
It's a surprise.
Okay. Huge. Oh, I know who this guy is. I know who it is. He just texted me. His name's John Glutch with the Glutch Real Estate Group. Spoke at Build. Super smart guy. He here, I'll show you who he is. So let's go look at John, youtube.com.
Johnny, will this be like something I can do on?
No, this is not. So this is John Glutch. And I always say his name wrong, Gulch. One of the two. Glutch.
Oh, yeah. He was hilarious.
Hector says he's amazing. If you aren't subscribed to his YouTube channel, I suggest you do so. It's really good stuff. Really good stuff for agents. But he'll be speaking this Thursday, and this is free. It will not be streamed, to Alicia's point. It will not be streamed. It will be recorded, Rob?
Yes.
It will be recorded.
It'll be recorded in a couple of days.
So go ahead, just hop on Eventbrite and register. But yeah, with that,
I wanted to say one quick.
yeah, go ahead, Eric.
So, there's the YouTube video of him speaking at Build. If you guys haven't seen it, it's really good. And he was on the Brent Gove podcast as my guest a couple weeks ago. So you guys can check that out. And he's really good. So very cool. You come check him out.
Here, so let's find the what Brent Gove, John Gulch.
GLUCH.
Yeah, there it is.
This
Oh
guy.
my gosh, he was so funny.
Yeah,
So good.
he was like a professional comedian.
He
but
really
he's
was.
not, but he's that good.
Okay, so we're going to throw it into the chat box for those of you who want it. There we go. All right. Well, with that, let's turn it back to the front of the room. With that, let's welcome everybody. Give a big round of applause for James Becker. He's the founder of Fusion Growth Partners. I know some agents on our team or on the Brent Gove team use him, like Krista and Cindy, and they absolutely love him. Drew uses him as well.
Yeah, he's amazing.
And so he's going to share with us his point system. So off to you, James.
Okay, right off the bat, huh? All right.
Yep.
Well, good morning, everybody. Great to be here, honored to be here, and I hope that I provide some real value for you. What is my timing on this?
You have as much time as you want, 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour. The floor is yours. How much time how long do you want to speak for?
Well, let's see how long it goes.
right.
I think we'll probably be a half hour. I'll try and keep it short, but I think there's some valuable things here. And
Perfect.
So I need to get my screen going here so I can bring up a presentation slideshow from the beginning. And I'm going to share my screen. And can everybody see that?
Yes, sir.
And hey, James, it's Drew here. Hey, I just give you I passed around a couple of your marketing stuff too, just so that people can actually see the great quality that you and your company provide.
I appreciate that. That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. So let's start a little bit on who I am for people who don't know who I am, because I am not very well known. My name is James Becker. I am the CEO and founder of Fusion Growth Partners, and Fusion Growth Partners is a business incubator for top real estate agents and other small service-based businesses. So what we do is marketing is one aspect. That's a big part of the beginning. But then what we want to do is help people actually build businesses that when you go out and get more business, what that means is you get more work, right? And so the more business you have, the more work that you have. And what we really want to do is help you have such a strong marketing campaign that you generate enough business that you can then hire an infrastructure and build a team. So more clients equals more profit, not necessarily more business. So the point system, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So the point system is what has helped me build my business back when I was in a young buck being a real estate agent. I went up to doing 65 deals per year. That was with one assistant, and this is well before teams. And so my production at the time was in the top 1% of all agents in the country. Now with the teams, that thing is very different. But I did 65 deals, and I don't know who remembers back in 1993 in Sacramento, but every single house had a for sale sign on it because Clinton was balancing the budget and was shutting down two of the bases that were in town and also the Army Depot. And so we had a real depression in the Sacramento region. And this is also the system that I used initially to get a mortgage branch called Becker Mortgage off the ground. And I built that to 30 full-time loan officers. And then this is the system that I've used to get Fusion Growth Partners off the ground. And just to give you an idea of what our size is, so we currently have just under 900 full-time real estate partners. We have over 250 full-time employees. Our revenue is about, we're tracking about $20 million this year in top line revenue. And we were named to Inc.'s 5,000 fastest growing company this year. We're 813 out of about 7 million private companies. And so this system is proven and works incredibly well. And I'm going to share a little bit about how this point system came about. So many of you guys know Tom Ferry. Some of you may know Mike Ferry, who is his dad. And Mike Ferry advocated 2 to 3 hours of prospecting minimal every single day. And he, advocated cold door knocking. I didn't like cold door knocking because there was a lot of time in between walking from one door to the next door. And so you weren't getting real good efficiencies. So I went to cold calling, and I basically had a cold call script that was, hi, this is James Becker calling from Lyon and Associates. I have a buyer that's looking for a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Arden Park. You have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Arden Park. I was wondering if you'd be interested in selling it. And so that's what I did over and over and over and over and over again until the people that sat around my cubicle moved because they were so sick of listening to me prospect. But one of the things that was happening is I realized that I wasn't necessarily very efficient because I could have some days where I was making lots of calls and making lots of appointments, and other days that I didn't really accomplish anything. And so the 2 to 3 hours wasn't really something that related to any particular types of results because I wasn't really controlling if I was lazy or whatever the case may be, or wasn't feeling it. I'd be watching the clock, how long until I'm done with my 2 or 3 hours. The other thing is I started playing tennis, and I wanted to go play tennis. But has anyone ever had that feeling where you go and you're playing and you go, oh my gosh, my business is dying because I'm not working because I am the business, and then you feel guilty, and then you go back and work, but you don't have any balance in life? Well, this was a way for me to figure out how I could get out of that so that I could go do what I wanted to do. I could go play and have freedom from guilt. But that comes from only rigorous discipline. You have to be able to have both if you're going to have freedom. So that's a slow transition. So all of what I'm going to be teaching you here and going through only matters if you're a full-time professional, if you're ambitious, and you really want long-term success. And I only believe in long-term success. Short-term stuff doesn't last ever. And so we want to make sure we do that. And so you also have to be willing, sorry, I jumped ahead here a little bit. You have to be willing to invest time and energy to achieve it. So by a show of hands, how many people have read Good to Great?
Jim Collins.
Okay, so that's one of the staples of business books. I would highly recommend it. It's written by a guy by the name of Jim Collins, who is a PhD at Stanford University. A lot of his grad students went out and interviewed great companies that were great over a long period of time. And what it boiled down to simply was, if the company had a fanatical dedication to consistency coupled with a simple formula and methodology, it would equal great business success. Not bad, right? So he would say the best businesses were filled with people that had a hedgehog mentality. When you look at Brent Gove has a hedgehog mentality when it comes to promoting. He never stops, right? He is going all the time. He is absolutely consistent with that process. So the point hunt gives you the best way to achieve these two elements from above. This is everything. All of the business planning, the marketing planning, the business philosophies, it's everything. Without your time and energy effectively allocated, it is nothing. How you allocate your time is absolutely critical. So let's talk about a couple of things. We have been counting since we were 2 or 3 on things that are important to us. So what do we count? We count money. How much money do we have in the bank? How much money do we make? We count calories, right? If we're trying to lose weight, we're careful of how many calories we're putting into our body. We count how many Facebook friends. I've got 2,000 Facebook friends. I've got 5,000 Facebook friends. I've got 45 likes on this picture. Right? All that kind of stuff is important. Why? To measure. Okay. One of the things that's important, we believe that is critically important, one of the business fundamentals is that you must measure. If you are in business, which you are, you must measure. And so a professional like a top real estate agent, what are the assets that you have that are most valuable? Your time, your energy. There is a finite amount of time and energy that you can provide. I got people that are coming into the room. Hold on, I want to click accept. Okay, so maybe someone else is doing that for me. Okay, and there's a limited supply. So you have to jealously guard your time. And most real estate agents, if you ask them, what did you do last week? Would they know? Do you guys know? What did you guys do last week that specifically had an effect on your business? Most people have no idea. So think about this for a second. What if you ran a restaurant and a bar? Would it be important to know how much food you had in inventory, or how much liquor you had in inventory, how much money you had in the cash register every night? So let's think about this for a minute. We're one of the most profitable businesses. A real estate agent business, profit margin is one of the most profitable businesses there are. And because of that, we don't measure. So we do this up and down thing, but we're not functioning like business. Your greatest asset is your time and your energy. And I'm willing to bet the vast majority of you, if not all of you, have no idea how you are allocating that time and energy. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if it's fair to say.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So we know we're tracking. So if you did not sell the food, do you lose the asset of the food? Yes. With a professional's time, the spoiling of the asset happens instantaneously. Think about this. You own a restaurant, you don't sell all the chickens that you bought, the food goes bad, you've lost all of that money. But it takes a little bit of time. For you, if you're wasting an hour, you've now lost that asset. Everybody agree with that? It's gone instantaneously. And so we muddle through the day and we get home and go, oh my goodness, to my spouse, it was such a tough day. I was on MLS all day long, right? But what did that produce for you? And again, I want you to start thinking like a business. Once you lose that time, there is no getting it back. So, quick question. Who knows specifically how your time and energy has been spent to develop more business in the last 30 days? Does anybody know specifically what they've done the last 30 days? One person down at the end. You know specifically. Okay. Drew's hand, I think, is right there. Is that Drew?
Yeah.
Okay. In the last 60 days, and I think most of you are being generous with yourself, in the last 90 days. Rigorous honesty. Okay. So if a business owner didn't know what their assets were, would you invest in that business? Yes or no?
No.
No. And my argument is you are. You're investing more than you ever have in your life. You're investing into your own career, and you're not paying attention to those assets, and you're not being a discerning investor in your time and your energy. There is a compounding effect when you are doing things consistently. And this is just an example. If you take day one at a penny and you double it every day, at the end of 31 days, there's $10 million. This is not too much unlike the energy and the efforts that you're putting into your business. But in real estate, most agents want everything right now. I need 30 listings in 30 days. I'm going to sign up for Zillow or something, and I'm going to get 100 leads in 1 week. And it's all kind of hockey puck as far as I'm concerned. And so I've never seen anyone, I've seen all these things, 30 listings in 30 days. I've never seen anyone take a course, and I've been doing this for 30 years, that signed up for that course and got anything close to that. But it's a great way to sell it. So don't kid yourself. Anything of real value takes time. Anything of value takes time. Anything of real value takes time. People who win the lottery statistically are broke within 5 years. Why? Because they didn't have to put in any effort. It takes time to conceive, to build, and develop, and to grow. So one of our key business fundamentals is that you should be measuring and focusing your business on your inputs. And I'm just going to read this from our business plan. We believe in managing our business based upon our business inputs, not our outputs. This is a critical element to successful business planning, to place your focus and energy on those factors you can control. This is one of the few elements that Jeff Bezos, the richest and most successful business CEO in the world, based his growth of his company. He totally focused on input. So when people would say, well, what are you going to do this quarter? He would never answer Wall Street. He would never guess, because he said, what's happening this quarter was hard baked by the inputs we did 3 years ago. And I can't adjust that. And so he wouldn't play those games. I think Jeff Bezos is pretty successful. There are so many elements operating around us which we have no control. Factors such as current state of the market, interest rates, how much it rains, or the behavior of other people. It is imperative to focus your time on what you can control and to build your business on inputs and actions, evidence to have a high correlation with growth. Evidence to have a high correlation with growth. Bill Walsh, the great 49er football player, head coach, Hall of Famer, also talked about this. He wrote a book that said the scoreboard takes care of itself. The scoreboard takes care of itself. Why? Because they practiced right, they lined up right, they did all the things that they could control. The scoreboard takes care of itself. I cannot stress this enough. So this talks a little bit about Warren Buffett. This is Warren Buffett. I'm going a little bit faster than I would normally in this presentation. But what he did is when he was a kid, he would pick up the discarded cigar butts, roll them into new cigars, and sell them. And he ended up making cigar butts into 130 million. This presentation was done a couple of years ago. But by the way, 30 billion, that's about how much his net worth has gone up in the last 3 years. That's what we're talking about, a compounding effect, but we don't do the cigar butt picking up initially. So time management. Time management is a misnomer for most. We have things called time blocking. So people block time. Everyone heard that. I haven't seen anyone be really good at time blocking. Because one of the things is I'd be prospecting, hey, do you want to buy a home? And all of a sudden, I'd have an agent call me, or excuse me, a buyer call me and says, I want to go look at a property. And I have to say, I'm sorry, I'm looking for buyers because I'm time blocking. We'll have to do it later. And that didn't seem to make any sense to me. And so in real estate, we're kind of firemen and firewomen. We have to kind of go when the bell tolls. And so the other thing is time management really kills passion. I don't know how many people have tried to manage their time and it's just drudgery. Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So point hunt. I got to turn on my fan because I'm getting excited here. Okay, we're going to jump into it. The point hunt measures your effectiveness. It keeps you focused on the most valuable task. So you're not, so many of us agents are so focused on the micro and not on the macro. So we really want to focus in on that. Okay. And it gives you tremendous flexibility with the type of work that you do that day. You don't have to do the same work. You can, if you want to stay home in your pajamas and want to be really effective, you can do that. If you want to go out and meet people and network, you can do that and still really fuel your business. Okay. I'm going to jump ahead here. So how do I score points? So every day you go on a point hunt. So for me, what I would do is I have a sheet, and I'll share this sheet with you in a second. It's 1900 technology. It's a piece of paper and a pencil that you can keep track of, and you can write down your points. But every day, my goal is to get 100 points. So if I could get 100 points in 4 hours, I could stop working. If it took me 12 hours, I had to go until I got my points. So it's kind of, I would say kind of like a Weight Watchers point system, but for business. So you get points for certain calories and certain things that you eat. This allows you to score points every single day. So I'm going to go through these real quick. If you open escrow, that's 50 points. So half of your day is done. So you accomplished opening an escrow, that is 50 points. You got a deal into contract. Great. If you take a listing, it's 25 points. If you develop a new sphere of influence, that's someone that you're marketing heavily to, you know them, they're connected. It's not a lead, it's somebody that you have some connection, you get their name and number, you put them into the database so that you're going to start following up. That's 20 points. So let's just think about this for a minute. If you added 5 new people to your database that you're constantly marketing to and constantly targeting to every single day, would you make money?
Yes.
Probably a lot. Okay. If you go on a first appointment presentation with the client, that's 20 points. If you were going on a first appointment every day, would you make a lot of money?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So those are first appointments. If you set a follow-up appointment, you have the appointment, you show property, you say, hey, let's go look at some more property tomorrow. That's 15 points. If you were doing that, would that generate money? If you attend the follow-up appointment, if you do a CMA for a client, if you did a CMA, if you did 5 CMAs for clients and people you knew every single day and sent them out, would you make a lot of money?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, no question. Okay, so you have all of these things that work their way down to showing a home, having a conversation with the potential client, doing a drop-in 7.5 points. So that'd be about 15 drop-ins in one day. Okay, if you have a conversation, you call somebody and you talk to your sphere of influence, that's 5 for 100 points. That's talking to 20 people. If you talk to 20 people a day, how much money would you make?
More.
Think about it. How many people are talking to 20 people per day?
Not many.
Not many.
I would be willing to bet none of you there are. And I'm not saying that you should, but if you're doing nothing else, why, if you're full-time and you're absolutely committed, why would you not talk to 20 people per day? So if you leave a voicemail or you send a video or you do a text conversation, that's 2 points. So if you do that with 50 people, that's 100 points. So the question is, and I'm going to go to this next thing here real quick. Bear with me. I'm going to show you my point system. There we go. Okay, I'm going to stop share and I'm going to bring it back up. This is the way it would work. Every single morning, I would pull this piece of paper up and I do a little thing. I would check all my voicemails and I'd write them down. I would respond to my emails. I would update my database with the new spheres that I'd have. I would review new listings and call the buyers that I had, say, hey, a couple of hot listings came up. I review escrows, I do my admin tasks, so I get all of this stuff out of the way. If there was a couple of must-dos, I would put them down, like I had to get this thing done, I would do that. If I had a referral, I would write down who gave me the referral and I would call and say, thank you so much for that referral. And then I would go on appointment. And now any way I can get my points, I'm doing it. I'm making telephone calls. If I make a telephone call and I set a listing appointment, that's 25 points. I only need 75 more points. Every time I talk to someone, it's 5 more points. So if I talk to 5 people, that's 25 points. My goal was to be on the tennis court by 3 o'clock. So that was 2 or 3 hours that I was prospecting in. I was hammering because it wasn't about time anymore. It was a competition. It was a fight against myself. And I had to get those points. And sometimes I wouldn't be able to do it. And so at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, I'm still calling people. I'll tell you something that's really interesting. It always seemed to me that those appointments that I got 2 or 3 days later that generated 25 points for me were always the last few calls that I made. Those extra few calls, think about this. If you stop at 75 points, you lose a day worth of points in a week, a whole day, because it's 25 points every single day, right? So if you're really disciplined, you're adding in an additional day of work. And then I would get to my 20 points, my 100 points, and I would go play tennis. So that is the point system. And again, I'm going to go back to this. This built me a business back in 1993, the 65 closed transactions with 1 assistant. That built me a business of 30 loan officers and is the starting ground on how I recruited people, how I brought people in, all of this stuff. And now I'm running a $20 million business, one of the fastest growing companies in the United States, based upon this system and process. Okay. I think I took about 30 minutes. Questions, thoughts, feedback?
Any thoughts, questions?
James, how'd you come up with the value of the points?
That's a good question. So what I would do is I would look at it and I would say, how much time does it take me to accomplish this one goal? And what is the value in producing an output later on? So setting a listing appointment had a really high value. And so I provided a lot of points for that. If I got a new legitimate sphere of influence and I'm marketing to those people on a regular basis, that has a really high input. So if you're doing marketing like we're doing, every 100 people in your database represents about 12 closed transactions. So every 10 that goes into your database, if you're marketing to them and you can get 70% of that business, that's a really high return. So adding somebody new would end up being worth a lot of points. And then if I'm just texting someone, that was less points and it didn't take very long. So that's the way I added those points. Now, some people ask me, holding an open house, is that points? And I would say no, but if you meet somebody new and you generate a lead of someone who you then set a buyer's appointment or a listing appointment, those are points. And so sometimes people, when they're doing this system, they say, this is taking time, and so I'm going to give myself points. But there has to be a direct correlation with escrows closing and commission checks, because you want to make sure that you are focusing your time and your energy on the thing that is going to produce results. So when I was working on building Fusion Growth Partners and I was initially doing all the selling, every time I talked to a real estate agent or set an appointment or closed a deal, I gave myself points for that and my business would grow. Eventually, now I'm more of an administrator. I'm a manager. I'm managing the business and I'm not in production anymore. But the way that I started and have grown this particular business is the way that I'm advocating here. Because your time is absolutely so damn valuable, and most of us are wasting it in a significant fashion.
100%.
Okay, Tom has a question.
Hi, James. Thanks. I appreciate everything that you're saying. I'm looking at your the score point system. I've seen this from several different people. Workman has one similar, but not quite the same point system. Curious about leads. It's all about contact. In real estate, it's a contact sport. You said that at an open house, meeting someone new is not a point. It's would I be wrong to assume that
holding the open house in itself is not a point, but the activity you generate in the open house is a point. So when the market was really bad, when we had foreclosures, I would go hold open houses every single day, and sometimes we wouldn't have anybody come in. But I could be calling my database during that time, so I could be at the open house setting appointments. If someone came in, I got a name and number of a buyer, that equated to points. But the fact that I opened the house was not worth points. I was just putting myself in opportunity's way to score points.
Right. Well, I was going to clarify that. So say 10 people come to my open house and I get 9 names and numbers and emails, that would count to 9 points or whatever each person is worth, each contact is worth.
Yeah.
Would I be wrong about that? Is that how?
No. So like in my scoring system, I would probably say leads that are cold leads that you got would probably be worth less than 25 points and probably 15 points. So it'd be somewhere in that range because cold leads convert much less than true SOI convert.
Right. Understood. And I assume the same thing for door knocking. When I door knock, I could meet, 15 people in an hour, or usually 15 people in 90 minutes is my normal. So I guess I wouldn't count those as any points because I'm not getting a contact information, but sometimes I do. And if I do, then I would count that, or how would that work?
I would count that if you're farming that area. If you're just cold and you're not farming that area, then maybe that's true. But I would probably give myself 2 points for just the effort because you're out there and you're doing that. But if you're farming, if you're talking to someone that you're marketing to on a regular basis, so I wouldn't cold knock in areas that you're not mailing to. So I would pick an area that you're knocking to over and over and over and over again, and that you're marketing to that group simultaneously. And, if you guys want time, I can talk a little bit of the reason why that is. But if you are marketing that area and you get an opportunity to shake someone's hand or say, hi, I'm thinking about you and can I help you with something? I think that directly relates to potential future business.
Okay, it's typically around open houses when I door knock. I'll door knock to promote an open house. So
Yes.
it's either in an area I'm farming or surrounded by an open house. So.
Right. I think you just have to ask yourself, Tom, is there a direct correlation with talking to someone who you don't get a name and number to future business? And the answer is no, I wouldn't give yourself points for it. So you want to be honest with yourself that the activity is money in the bank for future business.
Makes sense.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah. And then another question came in. Is it possible for you to share the point system page?
Yeah, I can put that back up. Okay.
Awesome. James, would you mind just downloading that and emailing it to me, or is this proprietary?
I can send it to you guys.
You're the man. Thank you so much. By the way, for those of us who don't know what Fusion Growth Partners is, do you mind just sharing a little bit about what it is and how you help agents sell more homes? Because I see 3 or 2 in the room that are currently using you and love it.
So Fusion Growth Partners is a full business platform. We have 4 stages that we take people through. And what we do is also partnership as a service. So we come in, we invest literally tens of thousands of dollars of building out an infrastructure that is for that agent and Fusion's partnership. We basically work on this infrastructure together. And so the first stage is the groundbreaker stage, which is building out this process. It's about a 3-month process, and it's very, very intense. You can ask Drew. It's a lot of work on both people's part, but once you have that infrastructure, it's a factory to then go out rainmaking. And rainmaking is the generation of business, and it's primarily marketing stuff. And you then do that consistently. It's several months. It's a year, 2 years, 3 years. And marketing has a compounding effect. But at some point, if you stay consistent with it, you will generate more business than you can personally handle yourself. And then the next stage is going into team making, which is now building a team around you. And we really believe there's 2 different teams. You can build an expansion team type where people are generating their own business, or you can do the Beyonce backup dancers team thing. So if you're the headliner, you're Beyonce, people are coming for your show, and you have backup dancers that are helping show property and do those types of things. The backup dancers add to the show, but they're not the show without Beyonce. They get paid a lower level of commission, but they are not generating. The person who makes the rain gets the most commission. That's the way it should work, and that's the way that it does work. And then the value of that rainmaker goes up because they're no longer maybe showing property, they're not putting lock boxes on, all of those types of things. Or you can build out an expansion team model, which we help with that process as well, and the contracts, and we do coaching all around that. And then the last part is profit taking, where once you've built a big business, if you want to sell it or turn it over to someone else, we help you do that process. So groundbreaker, rainmaker, team maker, and profit taking. And we do the vast majority of the work, and we pay for the employees that are doing the work. So we build all the SOPs, we hire the employees to do the back office work, and we manage all of those people. And we share in the revenue that you generate in business. We're in partnerships.
Got it. Got it. Anybody have any questions for James about Fusion? No? No? All right. Well,
Okay, I hope that this time for you guys was valuable and something that you guys may employ. I can tell you this from my heart of hearts, if you truly want to get a business and get it going and you don't have a lot of revenue or extra cash or being able to hire people, this point system, if you can discipline yourself to do it, will do amazing things for you. Try it for 6 months, 75 points a day. I promise you, your business, even with the marketing dropping, your business will be significantly different in 6 months. But if you go and do it a couple of days a week for 6 months, nothing's going to happen. You have to do it every single day. Thank you so much for having me. I hope that it was worthwhile. And
Absolutely. How can we get in touch with you or with Fusion if we want to sign up?
you can go to growwithfusion.com. And there's a page there and there's information there. And we'd love to have an opportunity to talk to you about a partnership. And I'll just tell you the way it works. You have to be doing at least $6 million in volume for us to consider you. We then walk you through how we invest in your business. And only if you love it will we then go to the next stage and try and work out numbers. There is no set pricing for what we do. Each person is different. Each person brings different things to the table. And so it's a little bit like Shark Tank, trying to figure out how we make the numbers work, but we're not sharks, we're dolphins, we're really nice. We just have to kind of figure out for each individual person what it is. But I cannot tell you strongly enough that if you can discipline yourself to do this point systems, the greatest waste that you have right now is the leakage of the value of your time. Once you get that under wraps, you're on your way.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, James. Everybody give James a big round of applause.
Thank you. And thanks for listening. And I just want to say you couldn't be with a better group of people and a better group of leaders. The energy that is generated out of this group is amazing. And I consider myself lucky to be loosely associated with it, and with the leadership there. I get a lot out of it. And so I feel very blessed and humbled that I could come and share some of what I'm doing, and I hope that it was, again, valuable for you. So thanks.
Super
so much,
valuable.
everybody.
Definitely.
You're welcome anytime, James. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
All right. All right. Yeah. So he's gone. So I didn't know how long he was going to talk. So while I'm pulling this up, tell me something good. Who has I spoke to Mariah.
So this last month I had a double entry deal,
Woo!
which was awesome. My sellers weren't planning on selling until October, but there was some family health issues. And the story was that this couple was bringing in both sets of their parents to take care of them because they're retired, old age, health issues. And so our goal was to sell their house and to buy a multi-generational home up in Auburn. We were looking, and we were running out of time. We found this house that was listed originally at 1.25 and it went down to 1.1. We got them down to accept at 930. And we listed their house as soon as we accepted it. And we asked them for 15 days grace. And within 2 weeks, we got an offer over asking on their home, and we closed within 20 days after that. And they gave them, we got 2 weeks of rent back so they could have some grace to redo floors and paint, and we got them in there and we're able to do that.
Incredible. That's awesome. Those are fun numbers. Clark, you have tell me something good?
Yes, and my wife closed her first transaction.
Yeah. Just out of curiosity, a lot of people are still hunting for their first transaction. Where did that first transaction come for your wife?
It was a good friend of ours.
So Spear?
Passed away, was sick for a couple of years, and we put it on the market. Actually, didn't even put it on the market. We sold it on the market.
Wow. Wow. So it came from the Sphere.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. All right. All right, everybody. So here, let me share my screen really quick. Just want to give you a quick market update. I don't see any lenders in the room. That's odd. Normally they're like little minnows on the shark, you know?
Question, would he put the points,
He said he'd email it to me.
okay.
And so if he does, I'll put it on the Brent Gove team page or the Made for More Agents Facebook page, so y'all can see it. So real quick, this is something that we go over every week with my team. And you can see, we do this every week, but I just started tracking it on a spreadsheet. So you can see new listings. This is all of Metro List. And new listings, price reductions, active properties pending. So these are pending and pending bring back up, and then closed transactions. And so what I thought was interesting that I want to share with you all real quick was the actives. Look what's happening to them. There was a dip, right? But now it's starting to go back up. So we're clearing for the last week over 4,000 actives currently on the market. So what that means for your sellers is list your home before your neighbors do. For your buyers, it means you can now get price reductions. You can now get closing cost credits. Right now is a great time to buy a house. You just heard Mariah's story, right? They got how much off the original list price, right? I mean, that's almost a house right there for some people, right? So just wanted to point that out. And closings are down. So if you're feeling the closings, actually closings, I mean, they're up a little bit, but not a whole lot, $2,600. They're not enough to eat up this inventory, this active inventory. So one of the mantras we have is buyers are buyers, buyers are buying, sellers are selling, right? Everything else doesn't matter. So just keep working your system, whether you have a point system, whether you time block, whether you're doing open houses, just keep plugging away. What you do right now, this is the last quarter of the year, right? What you're doing right now will determine what's going to carry you through the rest of the year and springboard 2023. Just keep that in mind, Paul.
Which breakdown would you bring in the rents?
Just if they're increasing or decreasing, like I would consider new listings on the market to be more of a bad thing because it's increased inventory, and increased closings to be a good thing because it's eating up inventory.
And one thing I want to add is that majority of agents start, you go into hibernation in October. Okay, so what that means, especially as you're seeing with Johnny, is if the listings are going up, right, and the agents are disappearing, okay, it is wild opportunity. Okay, I have great fourth quarters, right? It makes Christmas that much better, okay, because there's so many people that just disappeared. Okay, this is definitely a time to keep the pressure on. Also, this is a time when it turns into the quote unquote slow season, right? If you're looking for agent attraction, this is actually the hot season for agent attraction, right? We have a goal for our team of adding, I think 12 people in the next 3 months. Okay, because we also know that it's our best chance of doing so in the hot season of recruiting.
Absolutely. Like I was just talking with Bill Pops about this yesterday, and what I'm going to actually be doing with my team, and you guys can certainly do this. You don't have to be on my team to do this, but you can go through this. What is your 90-day action plan? Like, don't think about what I'm going to do. Like, what are you actually going to do? What's your transaction goal? How much money do you want to make? Where are these listings going to come from? Where are these buyers going to come from? You need to work on what? You need to work on what skills, what systems, and who's going to hold you accountable. If you're holding yourself accountable, it's probably not going to work out, right? You need to find an accountability partner, whether that's a coach, whether that's a team member, whether that's a fellow agent. You're going to need some support in achieving this 90-day, any goal, let alone this 90-day push, right? The Fed has, so Jerome Powell, you can YouTube it. Jerome Powell, he's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Everybody thought that interest rates were going to drop in the fall. Like, you kept hearing that. I don't know. Did anybody else hear that? Raise your hand if you heard that. Oh, interest rates are going to drop. Buyers have been hearing that. And so they were like, oh, I'm going to hold off to the fall. I'm going to hold off to the fall. Well, Jerome Powell got he spoke at Jackson Hole a couple of weeks ago and was like, guys, I don't know who told you that. We never said we were going to lower interest rates. In fact, it looks like we may have to increase interest rates. So if your buyers are on the fence, like, and they're waiting for interest rates to come down, they should not be waiting. I mean, the federal chair is saying, no, it's not happening. So please, please, please don't let this opportunity pass you by. Keep pushing. Buyers are buyers. Buyers are buying. Sellers are selling. Nothing else matters. Fair enough?
Yep.
All right, everybody, go forth and have a great day. Thank you for showing up.